Steel beats roll a distant wage. Truckers' voices crying through the night. Tales of speed and endless fights. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues. Truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels in endless miles. Stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues. Truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels and endless miles. Stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good this fine Thursday evening. Hey, I hope that you had a good day of trucking out there and everything. Like I always say, I hope everything went your way. I hope that you was blessed and prosperous. But hey, you're here tonight. You're tuning in with us on Truckers Voices. If you're over there on YouTube, we do appreciate you coming in. Yeah, I see somebody giving us those likes over here on Facebook right now. Y'all just keep those likes and those hearts coming. That helps push the show out. And you can actually share the podcast from your page. Just hit the share button and share it to your friend group, and you will help get us on out there. So hey, like, share, and you know what? You will help promote Truckers Voices. So we definitely appreciate everything that y'all are doing for us out there and helping us out there with the stream. We got a good show lined up for you tonight on Truckers Voices. Again, we got the real deal Paul Savill coming on with us, and he's going to come on and talk about his story about how he got into trucking, what venture he has going on now in his entrepreneurship. And I won't say much about it, but I'm going to let him tell the story about all that. And y'all just going to have to sit back, strap in, and listen, because I'm sure he's got a lot of stuff to tell us there. But without further ado, let me bring my co-host on in here, Mr. Steve, and we'll get some of the preliminaries out of the way, and we'll get this show rolling down the highway. Everybody, Mr. Steve Brand.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's going on, Tim?
Hey Steve, you riding dirty over there, brother?
Yeah, my truck's filthy. It's filthy. But
every week I call you, you say your truck's filthy. Man, watch that truck.
It is filthy. I tried to wash it the other night in the wash bay, and the daggone soap wouldn't work. And it's like, forget it. But I get out of this truck anyway Friday night and get in another one, and it's twice as filthy because it's on a slip seat. It never sees the truck wash. It was in the yard last night. By the time I walked out there, they was gone. They didn't even make it to my truck. I'm like, hey, don't y'all know who I am? I'm a co-host of the podcast Truckers Voices. I got to look good going down the road.
That's right. You got to look good, professional, and you're representing.
All this right here needs all the improvement it can. You know what I'm saying? All this needs improvement. But hey, it's been a good week. It's been a trying week. And the reason I say it's been a trying week, those that are going to Minneapolis that are listening will understand.
Trying to get the last minute stuff in there, right?
Don't get me wrong. You're trying to study, you're practicing, but the main thing is you're a safe driver. You're always a safe driver. But you're on the countdown. I got 6 days left. I got 6 trips left, and
Okay.
you don't want anything to happen. And Lord only knows that you start seeing things that's not really happening. You think are happening. It's like, oh no, 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 But you know,
You need to be singing that song 6 days on the road, and I'm
I'm gonna make it home tonight. Yeah, I'm gonna make it to Minneapolis next week. Trust me. Next Friday night, when I get in, I'm gonna kiss the ground and say, "Thank you, Lord Jesus."
Hey, I want the listening audience to know that y'all want to stay with us to the very end of the night. We got some announcements coming up, and we just want y'all to stay with us all through the show. Make comments over there on Facebook. I don't think we're going to be able to open up the phone line tonight, but we do monitor the comments. And a matter of fact, I see Scott Post is watching tonight. Mitch Piotrowski. I might got your name wrong there, Mitch. I'm sorry about that. And David Cummings, they're watching. I can see that now. All our regular supporters are watching this tonight, and then we got those over there on YouTube, and we got a selection of people watching tonight. I know there's probably a lot of Paul's friends watching us tonight. So we appreciate y'all tuning in to Trucker's Voice, but stay with us to the end because we got an announcement coming up, and got a couple announcements coming up that we want to let y'all know about. But Steve-O, I've got something prepared here. I'll go ahead and read it because you haven't seen it yet, but this is our disclaimer. Opinions expressed on Trucker's Voices are those of the host and guest and do not reflect those of the views of any employers, affiliates, or organizations. So for information and entertainment purposes only, what we do this show for, right?
Amen, brother. Amen.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, speaking on what you just said,
Yeah.
y'all stay tuned because we're gonna have a little break here and there, but I'm telling you, we got some things in the makings, and
Sure do.
it's going to be great. The future's going to be great, and just listen. Just listen and watch us. If you can't watch us, listen. I mean,
Right. I got something to say here. I wanted to make something very clear here. This is a devotion book that I put together. You notice that it says Tim Taylor. That does not mean that I wrote everything in this book. Okay, the cover right here, that is AI generated picture right there. And then some of the stories that go along with the scriptures and all that I put in there, some of those stories are fictional stories. I just want everybody to know that. I needed to make that disclaimer. And some of the stories are AI generated. But this is a good devotion book, 30 days worth of devotions, and it's all trucking related. I put it all together, but it doesn't say by Tim Taylor.
exactly. You gotta get that clarified. I gotta get me one of them.
Yeah, get you one, Steve. Those that have already purchased it, all the proceeds are going to go to help the show, and then sometimes we take some of the proceeds and we help out with charities like Reefs Across America, and also Safety Drive. We have thrown some money from the hat sales and stuff like that. So everything y'all do is really going for a good and worthwhile cause. So anyway, Paul, the real deal Savill, is waiting in the wings there, and we're going to bring him on here in just a minute. But Steve, tell me a little bit about Paul. He's a Ohio native there, I do believe, right?
Yeah, I believe so. He's from the Cincinnati area. I met Paul. Oh Lord, several years ago. I met him at the TDCs, and we got to know each other, competed against each other, laughed, had a lot of good laughs, a lot of good times, a lot of picking on each other, and he's won, been to nationals. I've won, been to nationals, and we've helped each other out. We've had team practices and everything. Paul's a good dude, man. Good dude, hard worker, and I can't wait to hear a story about his. I'll just leave it alone. Well, you got it up there, his robes, and but yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I just want to say before we bring him in, I want to say good evening to Paul, and I want to welcome him to Truckers Voices. He's in the background. We're going to bring him in here in a minute, and but we're going to roll out the red carpet tonight for Mr. Paul Savill, for he is our guest. He is the real deal, Paul Savill. He's a professional driver with miles of stories, and the creator of Sir Savill's Ideal Rubs. Proving that great flavor travels just as far as a good truck does. So we'll be talking about life on the road, building businesses from scratch, and the passion that fuels it all. So sit back, buckle up, and let's get rolling with the real deal, Paul Savill.
There we go.
Hello, guys.
How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Thanks for having me on Truckers Voices.
Hey,
Yes,
thanks
sir.
for coming on.
Paul, the reason we bring everybody in on the Rocky theme, because everybody that we have on this show right here, they are
Yeah.
champions in their own right, for sure.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Now,
Yep.
just
You got that right. You got that right.
clarify, Tim. I didn't hear no music. There wasn't no music coming through.
Oh, y'all didn't hear no music?
I didn't hear any music.
Nope, there wasn't no music.
I was in
coming
the background.
Well, no. Well, that means that our listening audience didn't hear the music either. So the board is not connecting to the computer for some reason. So I don't want to turn my computer off to get everything reset.
Okay.
So we're just going to roll with it. Hey, I heard it going on, but anyway, that just means that it's not going out through the computer like it's supposed to. Y'all, I apologize. It's those technical difficulties we always deal with. But you know what? That don't matter, because we have a good story that we're fixing to listen to.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
just want to say that, listening audience, Tim has a lot of things going on in his head that nobody else hears about either. So I love you, brother. I love you.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, Paul, welcome to Truckers Voices. We're going to sit back, relax, and we want to hear your story about how you got into trucking. We'll have some additional questions after the fact, and
Okay.
you take your time, you take your liberty.
Okay. I just I want to say thanks for having me on your show again. And, I couldn't be on a show with two better guys. And, and I want to say just before I start here that, Steve, when we met, we were both standing on the stage together, and it was your first time winning. And, and you were about as nervous as nervous could be. And we were both sitting there holding trophies, but I think you were holding one bigger than mine.
Okay, I'll go with it.
Yeah,
you're right. You're
yeah.
right. Nervous as a cat in a room full
Yeah,
of
it was a good nervous though. Okay.
and you helped me. You helped me through that. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So my story about trucking. First of all, I want to say that I never knew I'd be a truck driver, and it was never in the cards, never anything like that. I was packing movies, VHS videos. So I'm going back some years for Blockbuster Video. And it was at a place called East Texas Distributors. And I was the warehouse manager. So I was there for a long time. So I really never even thought I would have a different career. But what had changed is that the company relocated. And they relocated to St. Louis or Atlanta, and they offered to move me, and I wasn't doing that. So actually, my daughter had been born, so I think she might have been 1 or 2. So I had a second job at Overnight Transportation, working on the dock, and just a couple hours a week. And so when I learned that, I went to my manager there, John Cummings. And I asked him and said, "Hey, can you make me full time?" And he says, "Well, if you promise to get your CDLs and drive for me, I'll make you full time." And you know what? I had no clue what the CDLs was. I had no clue what the job. I just needed a full time job. I said, "Okay." So I got a jockey job right away. I started learning, and asking questions. I stopped down at the shop, asking mechanics every day, what's this? What's that do? And but I got my license pretty quickly. And as soon as I got my license, um, my first day, I still remember it. I sat at the end of the driveway of Overnight. And if you've never been in trucking, it's one thing to see that truck from the outside, but to be sitting in that truck and looking in that mirror, there's a lot of trailer in that mirror.
Yeah,
And it's very intimidating for a new driver. So I was just as nervous as any driver would be, but I got fine to my first 2 weeks. I got through it fine. Okay. But what I learned was that was the job for me. And that's what I was born to do. And I knew this right away, that trucking was in my blood, and it wasn't coming out. And I can tell you that I knew right away that this is what I wanted to do. I was not going to look back, nothing. So I learned everything I could learn about that truck. And I can tell you, the drivers that were on my route, they probably seen the Overnight truck coming. Like, here's the driver going to ask us a bunch of questions, because I sure asked everything. If I see a driver doing something, I sure went and asked, what are you doing? And I learned. And I learned pretty quickly. So I started driving 1999. And I'd say 2003, I went to my first state truck driving championship. And that was great, because I met another group of drivers from Overnight that had the same passion and just professionalism about trucking. And I loved that. And not only the support group from Overnight, Philip Warren, he was the VP of safety. And what a great guy. I mean, this guy he wanted to see you do well. He wanted to see you succeed. And he was going to do everything he could to help make that happen. And he had a great support group around him with Annie Manning and Karen Reichs. They just was such a good support group for the drivers. The drivers were, I jumped in feet first, and it was great. Well, as a couple of years went by, in 2006, we Overnight got purchased by UPS, and so that transitioned over to UPS. We became UPS Freight, and I can tell you that as soon as that happened, I was on the phone or emailing. I don't remember if I've called or emailed, but I got a hold of a manager over there called Andy Fry, and he was important because he connected me to some really important people that was going to make a real impact on my career. And one was Jerry Sasser. He was really helpful. And I called him. I told him about the truck driving championships. And I tell you, they had no clue what I was talking about, what this was. They had no clue. So this was a big hurdle to sell this, and because I say, hey, we're one company now, let's practice together, so he got a driver to compete and for the step van, and it was pretty quickly, and then Andy connected me with another manager, David Zeke, and I can tell you that Dave had just a profound effect on my career. There's no doubt about it. Okay. Dave bought into what I was telling him about the truck driving championships. And he just threw every bit of his support behind me. And if I needed barricades, if I needed cones, if I needed tape, if I needed an area to practice, it doesn't matter. He was behind me. And that was huge. And so around about that same time, I met two other drivers that had a big, profound effect. And I can't even overstate that enough, is that I met a driver from Yellow Transportation, which was Roger Anderson, and I met a driver from Roadway, which was Jeff Mefford, and we decided to practice together, and our chemistry and everything was just all there, and we just became a team. And not only that, David Zeke from UPS, he even accepted us as a team. So no matter what we did, even if it was UPS or whatever, Roger and Jeff was just included with the team.
Nice.
And you just it was just sometimes when you're doing stuff in the moment you don't know until you look back several years later. But this was really we were doing some really good things. Okay, and in 2009, I won my first state championship in the 5-axle, and Jeff had won his class in the twins, and Roger had won his class in the 4-axle. So it was like to win your first state championship, but to win it with two of the best mentors that a driver could have. I got to tell you that it's hard to describe the feeling, the emotions that whole weekend that I was just on top of the world. Okay. It's hard to describe, man, but it just was, it was really cool, really neat. So we were doing some good things. And then around about that same time, we at UPS Freight, we implemented the safety committee, and it mirrored the safety committee at UPS. But that was really detailed. There was a lot to it. And I was the co-chair of it. And I didn't understand, I wanted to make sure that I was doing the best job I could as a co-chair. So I'd asked Dave Zeke if I could just sit in on his safety committee meetings. And I just did that on my own time. So when I got done with my shift, I would go over there on my own time, sit in on their meetings, and just learn. I learned everything I could learn about their meetings. But I also met a lot of good drivers over there. And I'm sure I'm probably leaving some guys out, but there was a lot of good drivers over there that really knew their stuff, especially when it came to safety. But one driver I met was Greg Snyder. And this guy was so good at safety and the whole safety meeting. But what he really was good at was safety demos. And I can tell you that I'll give you an example. That walk like a penguin. Hey, you've heard that. Walk like a penguin on ice, right? To keep from slipping and falling. Okay, well, Greg had called the Cincinnati Zoo and asked them if they would bring a penguin to his safety demo. And they brought a penguin to his safety demo. And I got to tell you that this was so great that the interaction and the whole week of Walk Like a Penguin was just huge. And while I couldn't do that, but I did my own. I learned that to be creative, man, I just had a sign made, Walk Like a Penguin, and I got some ice bags and made a big pile of ice, and I got some fake penguins and put it on there. But I was creative in my own way, and I got pretty good at that. That there was 3 different times that our terminal had got put in a company magazine that about our safety demos and how creative we were being with them, how we were interacting with the drivers. And it was even our relationship, how we were just working together with, package and freight. And so even during that time, UPS was really heavily, and they still are, in volunteering. And I started helping pack food for hungry kids. It was with Hands Against Hunger. And so I did that for a long time. So I can tell you that no matter if it was the truck driving championships, if it was the safety committee, or if it was volunteering, I was a busy guy.
Yeah.
But I loved it. So we, in 2010, I won my second state championship. And when I went to the nationals, I had made the finals. And the finals, once everybody competes, and they call out the top five of each class, and then those top five run again. That's the finals. So when they had called my name, that I made the finals, again, I'm just emotional. I'm like, oh man, I can't believe this is happening, you know. And but Jeff had been he volunteered to be an equipment handler that year at the nationals. Jeff heard my name. He fought his way through the crowd, and when he seen me, he had like the biggest tear going down his cheek. And he came over and hugged me, and he says, "I knew you could do it." He said, "You got this, man. I believe in you." It just was great, man. It was a neat experience. Um, I just can't tell you that it's hard to describe the feelings you're feeling in that instance. Okay. Uh, but you felt just on top of the world. Okay. Um, so I went on to win a few more times. In 2013, I applied for the America's Road Team, and I didn't make it. So I was disappointed, but I didn't give up. And UPS had their own road team, which was called the All Star Team. So I applied for that team, and I got on. I made it on that team, and so I learned as much as I could. And 2 years later, 2015, I applied again for the America's Road Team, and you when you make the America's Road Team, they have the finalists, and the finalists have to go through a selection process, and on that selection process, there's three things you do. Is that you do it in front of a panel of leaders of the industry, and there's a personal interview, and then there's a mock media interview, and then there's a speech. Now there's other things that factor into this, but those are three things you have to do. And I got to tell you that speech that I wrote that year was about that tear that I saw on Jeff's face when he came up to me in that nationals. Okay, it was about what the industry had given me,
Mm-hmm.
and what I need to give back to the industry, and the manner and leadership in which I need to give it back. And that just because we all have different colored uniforms, that we all have the same goal, and that's to make it to our most important stop, home, to our families.
That's right.
And so this industry has just been so great to me, and I've had such a great career that and I've had a lot of good people in my life that has helped me get to that point. But of course, now once I made America's Road Team, that's a whole nother story. Okay, that's a whole nother adventure. But I've had quite a career, and but that's really my story and how it started out.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you are a city driver, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
And you do most of your city driving around Cincinnati, Ohio. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So I want to ask you this question on that end of it, Paul. So, everybody wants to make more stops, per hour, production and all that. So how do you balance safety with tight schedule windows, on staying on schedule there? How do you do that?
Well, it's one stop at a time. I mean, it's just all that's how you have to do it. You can have 20 pickups on your computer, but you just do the one you got, the one that you're going to. That's the one that you do, and um, you just concentrate on that stop. And no matter what, you don't think about the next one until you get done with the first one.
Right. And that's how you stay safe.
Yeah,
Um,
you know,
so so tell us again. I don't know if you told us or not, but how many years total have you been in the trucking industry?
28 years.
So in those 28 years, Paul, what changes have you seen as a city driver? And I'm sure you've run long line haul and different stuff like that, and you've run some stuff across the country with ATA and whatnot.
Yeah.
So what kind of
Mhm.
changes have you seen in the trucking industry since you actually first started?
Yeah. Well, definitely the tractors themselves are pretty nice to drive compared to 28 years ago. You know, they got power steering, they got AC, they got a radio. So there was some big changes there. Um, Even our GPS and how you get around is um, so easy now. You don't have to have a phone book now.
Right.
Um, so the safety features are probably the biggest thing, and that one is the safety features work great on these trucks. And you have a collision mitigation system now. You got a blind spotter. You have a lane departure warning system. You even have a rollover prevention.
Hmm.
And those things are great. They work great. They make a good driver an even better driver. But the thing about those is that you have to look at them as like a paratrooper with a reserve parachute. That you're glad they're there, but you have to use your safe driving methods to get you to your most important stop. Okay,
Right.
those safety features are just there in case of a close call.
Right.
And but probably I would say that the best safety feature I've seen is the PSI system on the trailers.
Hmm.
And you see it on some of the tractors now, where that is where that keeps all the tires at 110 pounds of pressure. And it also has a light on the front of the trailer that lights up if any of that if any of that system drops below 110 pounds. That light comes on, and to go back there and inspect them tires and just inspect what's going on back here.
Right.
And that's been one of the best things. So when you look in your mirror, you're looking for three things. Your traffic condition, your lane position, and mechanical problems. And so now with having that PSI, that you have one more tool at your disposal to make sure that you're getting down the road safely, and that everyone around you, which is just they're all families driving around us, and that we're getting home safely.
Right.
Exactly. Exactly. You know, all the safety stuff and everything, I always say utilize it, learn how it works, but don't depend on it.
Yeah.
Because, if you depend on it, it may not be as quick as what you are, and it may cause a little bit of delay and concern. But anyhow, Paul, uh, with everything you've said, what piece of advice would you give the next generation coming up wanting to be a truck driver?
Yeah, I would tell a new driver, and I still tell them today when I see one, whether they just came off of a dock or they just got their CDLs, is just to ask questions. To ask um, questions about your safety, um, like if maybe uh, uh, a a retired trucker, or maybe a driver from another company, or maybe a seasoned driver. No matter what, just keep asking questions. And then when you don't understand something, or you see somebody doing something, Ask them what they're doing and understand it, because it might be something that you add into your daily routine. And I want you to think of that daily routine like a cocoon of safety. And that every time you ask a question and every time that you add in and you make that daily routine stronger and stronger as you go through your career, it just makes that cocoon of safety so much stronger around you that that in this trucking business, it changes every day. And the more that you can make your daily routine stronger, you're going to be prepared for everything that this trucking business is going to throw at you.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to. Hey, Steve, did you have something else? Go ahead.
I was just going to comment. Just don't be afraid to ask. If you
Yeah,
really don't know, ask. You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
because you don't want to take that chance. You do not want to take that chance. And once a veteran driver hears you asking them questions, he knows you're concerned. He
Mhm.
knows you have the passion, you have the care, you have the drive. I want to do it and do it right.
Yes.
You know, very, very good, Paul. Very good. I like that.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
Paul, I want to change gears here, and I want to move into the your entrepreneur life, and
Okay.
and what you've launched with Sir Savill's Ideal Rubs and Seasonings. So what sparked the idea for the rubs and stuff like that?
I got to tell you that, I'd always wanted to start a spice business, or at least create a spice blend, but it never turned out good. It never did. It was, I always went to Jungle Gyms, and they had a weekend of fire. And I always went there, and I liked the hot pepper, and I ate it, and until I just couldn't take it no more. So, but I didn't know that I was eating it the wrong way. Not until I met my wife. When I met my wife Charlotte, she's from Ghana, Africa, and when she cooks her Ghana dishes, it is just a perfection of heat and flavor that just come to it's and she doesn't measure anything, and she just cooks it all from scratch, and it's just amazing. Okay, so when I experienced that, now I knew where the bar was. It's up here. Now I had something to kind of go by.
Right.
And around that same time, she bought me a blaze grill, and she built a garden for my stepdaughter Ariana, and I just kind of took it over, and I just started growing Carolina Reapers, and then I would dry them out and dehydrate them, and turn them into a spice. So this was a lot of trial and error, and uh, but um, this I knew I could make this, and I had guests come over, and I would cook for them, and I got good compliments. But it wasn't until um, guests were calling me 2 or 3 days later, or even in some cases 2 or 3 weeks later, and telling me how good the food was, and that I should bottle it and make a rub out of it, or make a sell it. And that's really how that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you come up with the name Sir Saville's Ideal Rub?
Well, my stepdaughter Ariana and I were just sitting around, and we were just kicking around names one night, and she actually came up with Sir, and I said, Sir, I said, what do you mean? She's like, Seville's Ideal Rubs. And when we said it out loud, I I I said, I like that. It's bold, it's classy, it has my name in it, it's personal, and I think it encaptures everything that I want the company to be. And that's
Right.
that's how it started.
Yeah. So also on your name and you have a motto, and that motto is "Feel the heat, savor the flavor." And
Yeah.
I saw that, and I was like, you know what, that's pretty good. So I used it in some of the marketing whenever I was getting ready to roll the show out. But I want to show everybody here. I got right here. I got 3 bottles in the
Yep,
mail
yep,
today.
yep.
So y'all, I got some. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna give an honest review on it here, and we're gonna
Thank
promote
you.
this. This is good
Thank you.
stuff right here. And I opened the bottles up. I let my daughter-in-law smell it because she is a great chef, a great cook, and she smelled it and she liked every one of them that she smelled. So Paul, before we go off the air, and I'm gonna let you tell everybody how we can get these out. But tell us about
Okay.
that. Tell us about that motto.
Okay. Well, that's my slogan, and that's "Fill the heat, save the flavor." So the "Fill the heat" is that's the Carolina Reaper, and it's not just about spicy; it's about balance, and it's said that the heat doesn't need to overpower the flavor; it needs to complement it, and then the savor the flavor is. Just it's every bite just lingers but in a good way, and so I want my rubs, that when you use my rubs, that every bite you take, it just lingers and it makes you want another bite.
Okay. Now, is everything you got a lot of heat to it, or just a little bit of heat?
Oh, no, it's a good heat, Steve. It's a
It's a
good
good
heat.
heat because
It's a good heat.
I
I've not had anyone tell me that my steak is too spicy. That it's
right,
perfect heat, perfect flavor.
yeah, because I'm not a
But
real
it is there.
okay, okay, all right. What inspired you on the first seasoning? What
Oh,
inspired you and to come together with the first?
well, that was a challenge, because if I was to tell you that I was going to put Carolina Reaper on a steak, you'd probably say, "Whoa,
Yeah, uh-huh.
that's whoa." So that was definitely a challenge that I knew that um, I knew I could do it, because I knew from my wife, I knew she had that bar up here. So I
Right.
just had to reach that bar. But I believed that I can do it. And I just kept trying and trying. And I wanted a rich, bold, flavorful steak. And I knew that, from watching my wife's cooking, that the pepper can elevate any dish, and if you use it right, and then I knew that one day I got it right, and it's been a foundation of my lineup. It's the Blazing Bull steak rub.
Nice, nice.
The Blazing Bull steak rub.
Yep.
That's it right there, y'all.
Yeah, see that's what I'm saying. My youngest boy and my son-in-law, they like heat.
Yeah.
They like
Okay. Yeah, they would love it. They would love it.
and me, I like a little bit of heat, but I don't like the heat that just sits there and burns and burns and burns.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
doesn't do that. This
okay,
it doesn't do it, but it's there.
right.
Yeah. So
Right.
I'm glad y'all said that, Paul. So I know when I was talking to you earlier, you said that you take this stuff to market and stuff like that, and you probably also sell it online.
I
Also,
do.
what is which of your rubs is the fan favorite? Is it the Blazing
What?
Bull?
That's hard to say, because they all have their fan favorites. Okay.
Okay.
And it just depends on what you like to cook. But for example, like the Blazing Bull steak rub, it's good on a steak. Okay. But it's good on hamburger or shrimp.
Yeah.
It's good on baked beans, a baked potato, mac and cheese. It
Yeah.
can elevate any dish. Okay,
Yeah.
it's very versatile like that. And then the fiery fowl chicken rub is good on chicken, but it's also good on pork, and it's also really good on salmon, and it's good on pizza.
That's
And
it right
yep,
there.
that's it right there. So it's very versatile. And then now my veggie vibe doesn't have heat in it, but it's packed full of flavor. and that's it. And it's good. It's very good on any vegetable, and it's good on eggs. It's good on salads. It's good to marinate lamb with, and
Okay.
it's also good on salmon. But
Yeah.
and then you can take the blazing bull and marinate some steak with it, and then take your Vegevive and put it on any vegetable. Put some olive oil on it and put the Vegevive on, and then put them back together for shish kebabs.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So it's hard to say which one is the favorite because it just depends on what you like cooking.
I
Right.
guarantee you right now, there's a driver out there that's listening to us, or somebody listening. They're like, I'm getting hungry right now just by these guys talking about food, especially steaks and stuff like that. So Paul, what's one of your favorites that you got here? What's your favorite?
Mine's steak.
Okay.
Is because I'm a steak guy. I love a nice medium rare steak, and that's perfect for it. That Blazing Bull steak rub is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you? Because you gotta test this stuff out. How do you keep your boyish figure so you not turn into a truck driver figure?
well,
Because
well,
that's the old joke in the industry. Yeah, you can tell he's a truck driver because he eats a lot. You know,
well, I'm actually working on another rub, which is a seafood rub, and it's really good. But I got to do it in the right way. So I got to follow the health code and the health inspector and get the label right and get it approved. So I might have that done by the end of the year. Might be the first of next year. But the one great thing is that I have a family that knows taste.
right?
And I can make something and them try it, and they're very honest as if it's good or not. And then just trying it out with guests. That's the next step is just inviting guests over and having that real world um, um, taste with just your everyday family cookout or even in the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That was going to be my next question is, how do you develop these flavors and do you experiment with them? And I guess you just answered my question about you try them out on your friends and your family.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
hey, what a better people to be honest with you there, for sure, So what challenges have you faced growing your business while still driving full time?
Well, there's been a whirlwind. I ain't there's no doubt about that. But one thing I've learned is that just to stay on top of stuff. Just you got big things come up, you got little things, and you tend to just take care of a big thing because it's big. But if you let a lot of little things build up, they become bigger than one big thing. So just anytime something comes up, just tackle it, get it done, and then. Probably I've made a lot of good decisions that helps too. And one
Yeah.
of the best ones is that where I go and make my seasonings in the incubator kitchen in Newport, Kentucky. Um, the kitchen manager there, which is Allie, she's a professional chef, but she is so supportive. And anything I need help with or I have questions about, she's right there to support. She wants to see me do well, and then we have other business owners there that are chefs as well, but they've been through the same process. So I have a real good support right there in that kitchen. So that's really helpful right there.
Yeah, and I want to ask you about, the labeling, the marketing, and the packing. And do you do that yourself, or do you have
I,
somebody that's doing it for
no,
you?
I do all that myself, and I do it in the incubator kitchen.
I can tell you right now, this is a well uh, packaged, product
Yeah,
here. Good, nice label. It's got everything on it that you need. It's got, the fat grams and cholesterol and sodium and all that
yeah,
on here. So, man, that's
yeah.
hey, congratulations! It's a good
Thank you,
looking product.
thank you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that kind of leads into my next question. How do you connect with your customers? I know I seen on Facebook there that you was over at Jungle Gyms and you talked to them and got them to put it on the shelf. But
Yep.
how do you connect with people?
Well, I got some social media accounts, but I'm not great at that, and that's probably something that probably gets put on the back burner. But at some point, I'll get better at that. Right now, I'm really connecting really good with customers at Findlay Market. I go down there on Saturdays, and I'm really connecting with a lot of people there, and it's been really good. If I can get his people to try my product, it's they almost 95% of the time buy it. It's
So
and
are
I'm
you able to go into a place like that and set up a small little podium or something, and you
yeah. But I just only have time to do it on Saturday. So
right,
but if I wasn't working a full time job, I would do it at other places. But
right, right,
but that's right now. That's it right there. It's
right.
just I do it on my through any social media or my email. I get customers that email me stuff, and all right. I've had customers call me and tell me how much they liked it, and so it's been good. I've been connecting really good, but mostly it's been through the Findlay Market, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more question just popped in my head. Is there a future plans for the Sir Savill's food truck?
Well, I don't. It's that's something that I've got a lot of ideals,
Right.
um, and that's on a whole nother level
Oh
than
yeah.
just doing spices.
Yeah.
So that's something that's definitely would be in retirement. Okay, so I I, I couldn't do anything like that while driving, but
Right.
um, but I got a couple years to figure that out,
Oh
and
yeah.
but it's doing really well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just curious because that gives
Yeah,
you an opportunity to sell the rubs
yeah.
because they're trying the rubs, you know, and the food and everything, and you like to cook, and I just
Oh
curious.
yeah, I
I mean,
love to cook. I love
but,
to grill.
but when you're working between 40 and 60 hours a week,
Yeah,
I mean that's yeah, it's like when do I
yeah,
sleep? You
yeah,
know,
yeah. You have to balance it for
my
sure.
father-in-law used to say there you get plenty of time to sleep when you're dead. You just you got to make the best out of life right now. You'll have plenty of
Yeah,
time to rest when you're dead. So
yeah.
So Paul, so what kind of support have you found from your trucking family, your trucking community,
Oh,
for your business there?
it's been great. That's the support for especially from my America's Road Team captains has been great. And just my trucking family. But Elizabeth Barna, she's been a big supporter, and I just I just don't take any of the support or help or anything for granted, and I appreciate every bit of it.
Yeah, yeah. Elizabeth, yeah, she is. And she's actually the one, I'll be honest with you, I'll be very transparent with you. She said, you need to have Paul on your show one night. And so the wheel started turning, and I told Steve, and so we finally got it worked out. So, yeah, that's awesome. So, we got one last question for you before we start wrapping the show up
Yeah.
here.
exactly, and I just want to comment to the listening audience there. It really shocks me and surprisingly of how much extra activities truck drivers do. I
Yeah.
mean, everybody knows we drive a truck. Everybody knows we deliver freight. We pick up freight. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But then we get into the charities and everything. So people starting to find that out. But now we're starting to find out you got guys that do woodworking, you got guys that work on lawnmowers or stuff like that. And now we got your rubs. You're making rubs. What
Yep.
what a
I sure
beautiful
do. And one thing's nice. I have a truck in my logo, and one thing I added was another phrase, which is driven to deliver flavor.
right.
And it was important to me to have the truck in the logo because that's my background.
Yeah.
Yes.
But one thing is that people ask me about it, and it certainly gives me an opportunity to tell them a safe driving tip.
Right.
Yeah. And I just put your picture up there again with your logo in the background there.
Yeah.
So
I see it. Thank you.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
That is awesome. I tell you, you kind of touch base on this a little bit, but your long-term vision for Sir Saville's Ideal Rubs, where
Yeah.
do you want to take it next? I mean, we kind of touched on the food truck, but you know,
Well, I want, quality. That's number one. So anything I do with my rubs is making sure that quality is number one, and that anybody that sees the name or the logo, they think premium, and just making a very flavorful food, but just not knowing that Carolina Reaper, you don't have to be afraid of it. And,
right.
and when you try my rubs, so I want that if you have a, uh, a thermometer and and one of my rubs, people are going to think that you're a professional, and that's the experience that I want people to have.
Right.
Right, right. So I know that was supposed to be the last question, but I do have another question. So if I had a ribeye steak I was doing, Paul, what would
Okay.
you do? What would you say? Put some olive oil on it, put the rub on it, rub it in real good, and
I
then
would
throw it on.
say, I would say, I would say, take it out of the fridge,
Yeah.
put some olive oil on it, and put my Blazing Bull steak rub on it real generously. Okay, put it around all the sides, the top, bottom, and just let it set. Just let it set for about maybe half an hour. Okay,
Okay.
and then just go back. Maybe just check it, make sure it's doing okay, and just maybe if you want to sprinkle a little bit more on it, go ahead. If you don't, that's fine too, and just fire up that grill. Put that grill up to about 400 degrees at least. Okay.
Hmm.
Put that steak in there. I always have a timer with me when I'm cooking steak, and I put it on there for 2 minutes. Pick it up, turn it, put it back down. Now 2 more minutes. I pick it up, flip it over. 2 more minutes. I pick it up, turn it, put it back down. 2 minutes. So now I'm at 8 minutes, and by that time it should be about 130 degrees. It should be close to that. But even if it's 125, I'm pulling it off of that grill.
Yeah, yeah. And I've got a rack of ribs like I told you I was going to do this weekend to go on my pellet grill. What should I put
Yeah.
on it? The steak, or should I put the chicken on it, or the
Well,
vegetable?
that's a very good question, man. I mean, if you don't want the heat, then the vegetable. But I would say that it just depends. The chicken is going to be pretty good on it, okay. But the steak is going to have more cumin and celery in it, and it's going to have a different salt as well. So it just has more of a kosher salt, where the chicken has more of a fine salt. So it just depends on what your preference is there.
Uh-huh.
But I get guys that use both. I get guys that use both of them, and I've had great feedback on both of them.
All right. Well, we normally close this show out with a word of encouragement and advice, and so we are right now at 8:58. So we're gonna try to knock this show off here in just a minute. Any words of advice for truck driving related, or somebody wanting to be an entrepreneur as yourself? What would you tell them?
Just don't be afraid to go uh, try something. Uh, sometimes we get close to doing something, and you're just like, yeah, either I don't know if I can do this, or it's just or you're afraid of failure, or whatever it may be. Just try, just try, and you never know the support that you're going to have.
Exactly.
Right, right. Steve, you got any last questions?
Got no more questions. I want to say thank you, Paul, for coming on. Thanks for what
Oh,
you do. And
thank
I'm glad you turned to the trucking industry when you did, because
Yeah,
you've
thank
turned.
you for having me.
you've turned out to be a damn good one, my
Well,
friend.
well, you sure did too. Okay.
Well, I'm still learning. I'm still learning, man. I'm learning it. But no, and congratulations on your entrepreneurism.
Yep.
Keep up the good work. I'm going to get me some of
Oh,
them. And
let me show you my website.
Yes.
Can you see that? SirRubs.com.
Yeah, it's kind of backwards because
Oh.
the camera makes it go backwards, but we got it there for sure.
Yeah.
And but it's spell that out for us, Paul.
It's SirRubs.com.
Okay. SirRubs.com.
Yeah.
And y'all go get your rubs. You can email him. You can text him if you got his number. Get him, and let's support Paul because he's one of our fellow truckers there. And Paul, I wish you well. I want to see all your dreams come true, and we do appreciate everything you do for the trucking industry. And we absolutely glad that you come on Truckers Voices and took the time out to talk with us.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You guys are doing a fine job.
Well, thank you. And we're going to hold on after we go off the air here, Paul. We'll talk to you on the other side.
Okay.
But,
All right.
that's going to wrap up another episode. I did want to tell y'all, like I said, if you stayed with me to the end, I got some stuff to tell you. Next week, ATA's own Nikki Thomas is going to be with us, and she's going to come and share some insight on road team selection process, what some guys that's going to be there, what they can expect. We're just going to talk to her about that. We absolutely going to talk about how she got into the industry also. So y'all stay tuned with us on that. Got a special guest in a couple weeks coming on after that. I can't tell you much about it, but I think y'all are going to like it. He's going to be a new sponsor of the show. So we will keep teasing that on throughout the weeks there, but I think y'all going to enjoy that one also. I believe it's August the 22nd. We got Herschel Evans and the lady from Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation coming back on. We're going to have a year-end wrap-up of this year's safety drive, and he's going to give us some insight on what's going on for next year for 2026. But y'all tune in for those shows. So we have got the book of August booked up. Y'all stay tuned. We appreciate your support. But tonight's episode of Truckers Voices, it was a great one. A big thank you to our guest, the real deal, Paul Savill. Thank you for sharing your story, Paul. Your passion for trucking, your inspiration behind Sir Savill's Ideal Rubs. Paul, you have shown us what it means to work hard, follow your dreams, and add a little flavor along the way also.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. Thank you.
Yeah, and to our listeners, thank you for riding along with us tonight. Whether you're out there on the road or listening at home, we appreciate you. Until next week, keep the wheels turning and stay safe, and keep your voices listening and keep your ears tuned to Truckers Voices. We'll see you right here next week on Truckers Voices. Be right back with you, Paul.
Y'all have a good night.
Oh, we're back. Sorry.
I've been going all week in a semi-truck. I'm doing anything I can to try to get back home. See the woman I love and the babies I miss. It's tough all over, no I can't pretend. And then I'm gone again. Well, it's tough all over, I see it every day. A good man working hard to try to earn a decent wage. There's a struggle everywhere, don't matter where you've been. And then I'm gone again. I ain't saying nothing you ain't already heard. When you're a man on the road, you gotta take the word. When I leave out of town, I tell my babies I'm sorry, cause they don't understand that I'm working for them. And then I'm gone again. Well, it's tough all over, I see it every day. A good man working hard to try to earn a decent wage. There's a struggle everywhere, don't matter where you've been. And then I'm gone again. And then I'm gone again. The only I'm working so hard is to make a good life for my family. And I promise that I'm gonna be there, but if I'm not, I'll be gone.